What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. In my previous video, I was talking about Keith Thurman using cortisone as a PED. And I didn't do a very good job explaining why that is, how that is. But I did reference this article right here. So I figured I'd follow up on what was said in that video and read a little bit of this article. Entitled, quote, "How to Get Away with Doping," unquote. I'm not going to read much of it, just a few sections, but you could go check it out. Anyway, this is the official name, quoting from the article, kind of in the middle, but I'm sure you have no problems following. Anyway, quote, "This is the official name for an athlete's right to use a banned substance under medical supervision and with a doctor's approval. The TUE rightfully exists in order to enable an athlete who has a legitimate medical condition to continue to compete. In baseball, there has long been widespread use of TUEs to enable players to take the attention deficit disorder drug Adderall. And as the Fancy Bears hack shows, the practice of obtaining TUEs, ostensibly to treat disorders like asthma and allergies, is common among world-class athletes, not just in running and cycling, but in rowing, hockey, tennis, and even golf. It is possible that all TUEs revealed in the WADA League were for legitimate medical reasons, but the system is open to abuse. Some of the medical conditions used to justify a TUE can be difficult to validate. And as I discovered, an unscrupulous writer and doctor could exaggerate or simply make up symptoms that would merit a prescription and exemption." So I was talking about Keith Thurman using a PED, namely cortisone, and talking about the need for him to have a TUE to use it, which is maybe probably why they didn't do VADA testing, because, just like it says right here, some of the medical conditions used to justify a TUE can be difficult to validate. Or you could fake a condition, right? Or it could be difficult to prove that you have one. Either way, right? Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Continuing later, a little bit later. "By the 2001 season, I was taking the banned blood-boosting agent erythropoietin, I don't know how to say it, erythropoietin, EPO, and testosterone in secret training camps, right? EPO for stamina and strength, obviously, and testosterone to build muscle, right? And burn fat and also stamina in secret training camps before my target races. Then, on 3 occasions, I took cortisone. The EPO and testosterone were anabolic. That is, they built me up. Nothing that could be seen physically, although a blood test would reveal the changing numbers in my blood values that would lead to an increase in aerobic performance and improve my ability to recover from hard training efforts." That's another reason why people take testosterone, right? To recover better. "I would make sure the performance-enhancing drugs were used only in training phases where I could be sure I wouldn't be tested. By the time I got to the races, my body was clean, although it carried the benefits of the drugs," right? So not unlike most, if not all, PBC fighters, and a lot of fighters in general, Keith Thurman likes to take long breaks, right? He's out of competition a lot, which means he could be taking testosterone and EPO, stacking roids, basically. And then, continuing further on, "Once I hit my target levels and felt ready for the big push, a doctor would administer the cortisone via an intramuscular injection. In one sense, it would be like hitting a self-destruct button. The moment the drug entered my body, I would become catabolic. The cortisone would start to strip me down, and I began to use my own body as fuel." First to go would be the excess fat I hadn't been able to rid myself of, no matter how strict my diet. Then I would start to feel different. My sleep would become restless, yet in the mornings I'd feel more alert than ever. I'd begin to feel physically stronger, able to do things on the bike previously impossible. For me, this would mean being able to push bigger gears, which is the equivalent of lifting heavier weights. The effect was so powerful that the tendons in my knees and ankles would ache from the increased force they were dealing with, right? So in the off season, you build yourself up with testosterone and roids, right? EPO. You build your body up. And then during competition, you take a cortisone shot and you use all that you've built up, that muscle and even some of the fat that's there anyway, you use that as fuel, right? So your body basically cannibalizes itself to a degree, right? And this part is really interesting. My knees and ankles would ache from the increased force they were dealing with, right? You push yourself harder. You do things you normally wouldn't be able to do. You do things that your body isn't built to do naturally, right? Fatigue lets your brain know to stop doing what you're doing because you're going to break something, you're going to hurt yourself, something's going to happen to you. But, cortisone lets you deal with that, lets you deal with fatigue, and, because it also helps with inflammation and stuff. But that could be also why Keith Thurman is always injured, right? Because he pushes himself harder than he's able to. So maybe that's why he has all these nagging injuries and all these little problems, right? It's the same thing could be said about David Hay, right? The body's natural reaction to such overloading is inflammation, right? That's another way your body lets you know, hey, stop moving this joint, right? So your body, again, I'm not a doctor, but if it inflames it, you start to feel it, you start to hurt it, your mobility is decreased, your body's basically telling you, hey, stop working this joint or whatever it may be, right? But after the cortisone injection, the puffiness I normally see in my body disappeared, right? So cortisone helps you, again, ignore your body's natural signals to stop, and it lets you push harder than you might normally be able to and the reason why you're even getting hurt in the first place is because you're roided up and you're pushing yourself too hard anyway, right? Anyway, and here is the Kevin Aioli video interview with Keith Thurman.
Anyway,
what the hell happened there? Okay, here we go. This is it for those of you interested. Keith Thurman talks about Errol Spence elbow surgery, marriage, blah blah blah. Kevin Aioli's channel, a video from 3 days ago. Right in that video, he tells you he took a cortisone shot before the Danny Garcia fight, right? So that's just a theory. In my opinion, Keith Thurman is juicing in the off season and then using either a fake injury or a legitimate injury, maybe a small thing, maybe something that's very difficult to prove or disprove, like a bone spur in your elbow, you know what I mean? Maybe he has some inflammation because he's been pushing himself too hard because he's roided, right? And that gives him an excuse to use cortisone shots, which allow him to, again, burn the muscle he had built up artificially and use that as fuel, right? And even though Keith Thurman isn't a cyclist, like the guy in the article, he for damn sure likes to ride that bicycle, both in and out of the ring, in it. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But however you cut it, Keith Thurman is using PEDs and getting away with it. And that's just a fact. That's my video. Thank you for listening.